Landscapes.com, because when you find one company, you find the benefit of three. Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 29th is $2 off bacon, $2 off summer sausage, and 20% off on crackers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411. Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger. And future stronger you can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up. And you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends January 31st. See Home Club for details.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Also, CarrikerChronicles.com. The Ticket on YouTube, Carriker Chronicles on YouTube. We got a loaded show. I know you're shocked. But before we do that, I just want you, we're going to play that clip here, Jake. It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen.
Today from my doctor, he said I was a beast.
No, he said you were obese.
Oh, okay. That was rude.
Play it again, Jake.
I got the results today from my doctor. He said I was a beast.
No, he said you were obese.
Oh, okay. That was rude.
It's all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen. All right. As we feed into a glorious weekend here in the great state of Nebraska, the great city of Lincoln, we're going to bring on right off the top a man that covered me when I was in D.C., much like John Keim yesterday, Grant Paulson. He can't hear me yet, can he? He's like the hottest guy on air out there in D.C. I want to make sure he can't hear me so he doesn't get a big head. He's like one of the biggest sports fans I've ever met in my life. Just couldn't continue his journey, competitively, athletically, physically, but got into covering Major League Baseball, the NFL, and the Commanders specifically. And he does a phenomenal job. He is growing as quickly and as fastly. If you look on social media, look everywhere, as anybody out in D.C. is one of my favorite guys that was out there. I didn't have the kindest thoughts towards the media when I was a player. You get misquoted, you get things taken out of context, things of that nature. And to be clear, there's a lot of good people in the media. But Grant was one of the first guys that helped me turn around my view of people who cover sports. Okay. And for me, I was like, man, any job you do, there's going to be difficult people. People try to take advantage of things. That's not unique to any specific job. But I'm like, I'm starting to see these individuals as people who just love sports, and they wanted to do sports as their job. They couldn't do it on the field of competition, so they started to cover teams, and they do a really great job. And that's what helped turn how I viewed some folks in the media, was meeting guys like Grant Paulson. We're going to bring him on here in a minute. Okay, we're going to go ahead and call Grant. Also, there are some portal linemen that are available that were not available as of about 48 hours ago. Notre Dame has lost 4 offensive linemen to the transfer portal, which was a little bit surprising to me because of the culture that's been built at Notre Dame, because everybody loves Marcus frickin' Freeman, and Notre Dame's going to be back next year as a top 5 team. Well, that's what we projected. That's what we thought. We'll see what happens now. They lost their starting guard, starting center, 4 of their offensive linemen. This is a team that was 3rd in the entire country behind Army, who once won a game this year without throwing a single pass, the only college football team in history to ever win a game in college football without throwing a pass, okay, led the nation in most rushing yards. Number 2 was Boise. They had some guy named Ashton Genty running the ball, and then it was Notre Dame. So they're physical up front. Now, I will say this. Ohio State kind of limited their ability to run the ball in the national title game. Ohio State did that to a lot of people. Okay, if you watch the Texas game, if you watch some of these other games, outside of Michigan, they really did it to everybody. Oregon beat them over the top with passes when they won the first game, not the second game. Couldn't do jack diddly squat the second game in the Rose Bowl. But Notre Dame had and I've said this before, 2 of the top best running backs in the entire country, both going to be back. Riley Leonard ran the ball 9 times. 9 freaking times in the opening 18-play drive of the national championship game. Notre Dame was physical up front. I want to be more physical up front. So all I'm getting at, all right, is there's new potential options, and there will be more in the spring, and there will be more throughout the offseason. New potential options to bring in through the transfer portal here for the University of Nebraska. We're going to chat about that a little bit. And then it's ironic because I just talked about how, do we have Grant on the phone? Okay, we'll bring Grant on in a second. How Grant was one of the guys that helped me shape a more positive view of folks in the media. And then it's interesting, I was actually sent an article. It was on the front of MSN, I guess. They took something from one of my chronicles, and they actually kind of skewed it the wrong way. This hasn't happened in a long time, but we'll chat about that at the end. I don't think it was anything too serious, and the mic fight is back. Jake, we were doing so well. I tried to go back to my original mic, which, hold on. Yeah, hold on. So I used to use the mic to the left. I got tired of fighting with it. I went to the mic to the right. I use my hands so much. The mic to my right is constantly in the way of my hands. Okay. Can you hear me? Does this work?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I talk loud enough. It'll work. All right, so the mic fight is back. I tried to go back to the mic to my left. I might have to do the one to the right. Maybe I'll just switch seats next time. I guess we'll see. But let's bring on Commanders Insider, NFL Insider, on the Major League Baseball Network, one of my favorite guys that covers sports out in D.C., part of the Grant
and Danny Show on 106.7 The Fan out there in D.C., Mr. Grant Paulson. How you doing, my friend?
This is Grant. Good. How's it going?
Dude, it's good. I spoke with John Keim yesterday. I'm chatting with you today. I haven't spoken to either one of you guys in like a decade, so I appreciate you guys not forgetting who the heck I am and being willing to come on the show. But
reunion time in D.C., brother. That's what it is.
Dude, I was there during Albert Haynesworth, Roberts, couple of years. Dude, it was not a boring time. I tell you, I got stories about Mr. Haynesworth. I sat next to him in meetings. He had about 15 phones to try to hide what he was doing, but we'll get to that topic in another day. All right, but man, talk to me. We're going to talk Bills, Chiefs. We're going to talk Commanders, Lions, and then eventually we're going to talk more baseball on this show, more basketball. You are a Major League Baseball insider. My son is going bonkers with all the money that the Dodgers are spending, the money that Juan Soto just got from the Mets, $765 million. But let's start off the top. Commanders, Lions. You look at the combined records of all the NFL road teams this postseason that are not named the Commanders, they're 0-8. The Commanders are 2-0. Why have they been able to have such success on the road when no other team in the NFL has been able to win an NFL road postseason game this year?
Well, they've been good all year on the road, Adam. I mean, they're 7-3 if you count the regular season on the road. I think a lot of it has to do with their no-huddle operation. Now, I talked to Austin Eckler about this week, their running back who's been great in these playoffs, and basically says they've got answers for noise. You know, they don't huddle. They don't need a ton of verbal communication. They're at the line of scrimmage doing some check-with-me stuff. And Daniels is often telling them what they're doing with signals and things. So I think their tempo, the fact that they don't need to huddle, that they get to the line of scrimmage quickly, I think those are all factors.
All right, I'm going to open up a little bit of can here. This was not on the docket of questions that I had prepared, but going into RG3, Robert's second season. All right.
Right.
Him and Shanahan were butting heads like crazy. He had the whole knee injury. Was he going to come back? You know, try to be ready for game one, which he did play. Should they run the read option, et cetera, et cetera. But the biggest point of contention, because I was there that offseason while he was rehabbing his knee, trying to rehab mine, and we would chat about that. He wanted to go no huddle the next year. And he really wanted to do it because that's what they did at Baylor. It worked really, really well for him. Shanahan said no, and that was a big point of contention between him and Shanahan. You're probably aware of this at this point. Should they have gone no huddle the way Robert wanted to do it all those years ago?
Well, I mean, to an extent, sure. I mean, you got to do what makes your quarterback comfortable, and I think mixing those types of things in is necessary in the modern era of the NFL. I got to say, though, I wouldn't have made that many changes offensively. They were the number one offense in yards per play in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
They were the number one passing offense in yards per play. Griffin didn't really turn the ball over. They were dynamic and prolific. Nobody ran the ball better than Washington. So I wouldn't have been trying to go back to the well or change major elements of their offense, if I'm being honest. And what they were doing was working. So I understand any kind of frustration of wanting to make major sweeping changes.
All right, let's come back to modern day football. The Eagles, the Commanders, the Eagles are about a 6-point favorite as we sit here right now. And I harken back to the last time they played. The Eagles, I believe, were up 27-7. Washington comes back to win at the end, 36-33. But where I'm going with this, Jaden Daniels had 5 touchdown passes that day. I believe he was also sacked 5 times. 2 of the wide receivers, 2 of his leading receivers that day, had a combined 0 touchdown receptions on the season before that day. So my question is, because McLaren had 4 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown and a divisional playoff win over the Detroit Lions. All right. Grant says he can't hear me. Can you hear me, Grant?
Now I can.
Okay. Well, here.
You were silent.
No, that's okay. It was a bunch of info. You probably already know most of everything I was saying, but here's my question, because there's not a whole lot of weapons on this Commanders team outside of Zach Ertz, Terry McLaurin that are proven. How has Jaden Daniels been able to break through? And again, Zach's a good player. Terry's a good player, really good player, obviously. And there are other guys out there who can make plays, but he's kind of carried this offense as a rookie. How's he been able to do that? Because he doesn't have the same weapons as what the Eagles have at running back and their 2 wide receivers with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley. I mean, they're all over the place. How's he been able to carry this offense so far?
Yeah, you're totally right, Adam. I mean, it's not high-end impact Pro Bowl talent everywhere, right? Like in some of these organizations. The answer to me is, first off, scheme. Cliff Kingsbury's been tremendous at designing this offense to get these guys open, whether it's Olamide Zaccheaus, who had just 10 catches with the Eagles who they're playing this weekend, 1 year ago. And he had a 2-touchdown game where he had almost double-digit catches in a game this season against Philly. Whether it's De'Ami Brown, who never caught 5 balls in a single game for 4 years in the NFL until this postseason, who's done that in back-to-back weeks and is really flourishing. They're getting guys open. They're designing the offense well. They're getting the ball out of Daniel's hands. They try to make everything easy, right? It's a lot of quick game. It's short and intermediate stuff. And then once or twice a half a game, he will hit a home run. He'll go down the field. He's very accurate. He's got the touch, and he can hit the big play, which, in this league is so demoralizing defensively. And they've been really good at those in this postseason run over these few games. But I think the answer to how have they done it with kind of lesser talent at the skill position is it's a ball-controlled offense where they run a lot of plays, and they're not necessarily an elite offense in terms of picking up chunks frequently, but they are about staying on the field. And so they're looking for 3.5, 4, 5 yards at a time, and that's kind of how they call plays and operate.
When you think of greatest rookie quarterbacks in NFL history, greatest rookie seasons, I should say, I think of Dan Marino, Cam Newton, Roethlisberger, Robert Griffin III, 2012, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson emerged on the scene, Caleb Williams this year. I know the Bears were up and down, but he had a pretty decent season. Where would you rank Jayden Daniels on that list of best, and this season's not over, but just so far up to this point, best rookie NFL quarterback seasons you've ever seen?
Well, I think if he plays well in a win this weekend, he'll be at the top of the list as far as I'm concerned. Remember, there's never been a rookie quarterback starting the Super Bowl. There's never been a rookie quarterback who has won an NFC championship game. There have been 5 that have played in conference championship games, right? Mm-hmm. But nobody's ever actually won it and gotten all the way to a Super Bowl. And this is not like the previous examples either, Adam. Like, let's be honest. When Mark Sanchez, AFC championship game with the Jets, or Joe Flacco, or any of these other guys that played for a conference title, they're essentially being dragged there by great defenses and ball control offenses that are run first. This is the Jayden Daniels show, where he's not only heavily involved in the passing game, which is prolific, but he's also their leading rusher. I mean, he's their best football player. So it's not a caretaker or someone who's kind of the product of a really good environment and situation and kind of just a beneficiary who happens to get to play in the game. They're in this game because of him. So it is unlike anything we've ever seen in that regard. To be clear, do I think there have been better rookie seasons historically? When you look at Jim Brown or some of the great, running back seasons ever decades and decades ago, I think so, probably, yeah, in terms of guys that won MVP awards or competed for the MVP. But in terms of modern era football, with the complications at the quarterback position, how difficult and hard it is to play that spot, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this.
All right, one last Commanders question, and then I want to chat Bills and the Chiefs for just a minute. But my old boss, all right, I always liked Dan Snyder. The guy wanted to win. The more I got to know him, the more I was like, man, just let people do their jobs. Maybe that would help, and we get more dubs on the field. But he really wanted to win so bad. But Josh Harris, all right, who acquired the franchise from Daniel Snyder in 2023 for $6.05 billion, just think about that, is now the owner. During his 2 seasons there, and this season is still ongoing, season number 2, the Commanders have 2 playoff wins, which actually matches the same amount that Dan Snyder had during his 24 years of owning the Commanders, of 2 playoff wins. My question for you, and I have nothing but kind things to say about Dan Snyder because he was always good to me. But my question for you, and I think it's a fair question, if Dan Snyder's the owner, do you still think the Commanders are where they're at right now, or do you think maybe a change in ownership allowed them to move in a direction that allowed them to move forward in a positive way?
I'm 100% confident that this would not have been possible in the Dan Snyder regime. I was here for the entire 25 seasons, 24 years of it, and respectfully to you, right? Because I think there were players certainly that were treated pretty well. I mean, he was a diehard football fan who loved the team. So obviously you're going to treat players, especially players like yourself, who he spent good money on and had good seasons for him, pretty well. But he didn't treat anybody else all that well. Their employees had it, it was a terrible culture of fear of being fired and looking over your shoulder. I would see him for decades, and you're supposed to look down and not say hello. And if you say hello, he's not going to say hello back. just the way they treated people was horrible for so long at the highest levels. You know, some of the worst experiences I've ever had as an adult in terms of being spoken to and how people talked to me and treated me were in that building by Snyder's higher-ups. Why are they talking to people like that? Why do they treat people like that? Probably because, A, they're allowed to, and that's the culture there, but B, that's how they're spoken to from their superiors, right? So, no, it was a horribly run organization. And you know, how you treat people just from the jump is kind of how the culture gets set. But on top of that, he never once in nearly 30 years running the team had the correct structure and allowed it to work. Meaning, right now, for the first time in my lifetime, since 1999, when they were last having a chance to get to an NFC championship game legitimately, before he took over and summarily made changes, they had a general manager that they hired and empowered and allowed to run the team, who's an actual football person, and Adam Peters, who then hired a coach who then picked the quarterback. And so with the new ownership, the new GM, the new head coach, the new quarterback, all on the same page, they've never had that before. They've never had a GM running the show without the owner telling them what he wanted. And so this is the first time they've ever done it, and not coincidentally, they're already knocking on the door of a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's not dissimilar to a lot of the stories that I've heard. The one thing as players were absolutely aware of was there was favorites. Like nobody was ever allowed to go inside of his house, which, you know, that was perfectly fine with me. And then you hear, you know, Robert and his wife were having Thanksgiving dinner over at his house on Thanksgiving Day one particular year. And we're like, you know, and you hear of certain players being in the draft room on draft day. And you're like, that's interesting. So things like that are never good. All right, let's chat about the Bills, the Patriots, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to take the Bills. I just think it's the Chiefs, not the Patriots. The Bills and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are so good in one-score games. All right, 11-0 this year. They obviously big game. Patrick Mahomes, like Josh Allen's 4-4 against him, but 0-3 in the playoffs. Like they know how to get it done. I think at some point that funny-shaped ball that bounces all over the place, it's going to bounce in the direction of somebody else, and I just feel like this is the Bills' year. They're the only team to actually beat them when they had their starters on the field in the regular season. This past year was the Bills. All right, the Broncos beat the Chiefs week 18. They weren't starting anybody. So for me, I'm going to take the Bills in this game. But what are your thoughts on the game, Grant? And who do you have winning? And I don't know if you can pick the Commanders and Eagles, but who do you have winning in that one if you can pick that game?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first off, for the AFC Championship game, I totally agree with everything you said, and I get your pick. But I have picked against the Chiefs in the playoffs for the final time until they lose. I'm just not going to look like a fool again.
Yep.
I mean, it's you know, it's devoid of kind of context and analysis, but they're inevitable. They just have a way to win these football games, and being at home is an immense advantage. I don't really do the conspiracy theory with the referees thing, but I will say that the crew that specifically the umpire that is in charge of this particular game has a higher than average rate of calling penalties, and the Chiefs have not lost, I don't think, in any of his 6 games. And so, like, all those things are factors for me in looking at this. But I just think Mahomes will make the big play. I have great faith in him. I think the Bills have to be nearly perfect, not turn the ball over, which they've done a dozen times this year, is the most in modern era football history, which is cool. But they have to. They don't have the luxury of one mistake that kind of changes the game. I also think the Chiefs defense is just playing really, really well and can get pressure from the interior with Chris Jones. So I'm going to roll with Kansas City in a tight game. And then I do think the Eagles beat Washington, sadly. Look, it's a toss-up, and I got to be honest. The Eagles are the better team, but the Commanders are on the magical carpet ride. Everything's kind of going their way, and it just feels like they're so confident. I can promise you they think they're going there to win and get to the Super Bowl. So I think it's going to come down to probably a field goal here or there, and I give the advantage, even in a down season, to Jake Elliott over Zane Gonzalez there. But it's going to be really tight, man, and I would be 0% surprised if Washington won, because, frankly, their harder matchup was last week in Detroit, in my opinion, than the place they've already played this year, and a team they've already beaten this year.
Yeah, you're right. The Commanders are red. I'm going to take the Eagles, too, but I'm kind of like you. They're red hot, and they have the hottest quarterback in the league right now in Jaden Daniels. Okay, and let me throw these couple things out there. I don't know if this will change your mind with the Bills and Chiefs, but the Bills have allowed the fewest sacks of any team in the NFL this season. The Bills have also led the NFL in turnovers forced this year, and honestly, it's not even close. Now, on the flip side of that, Steve Spagnuolo, my former head coach for a very brief time, at the Rams. All right, he may be the best defensive coordinator in the entire NFL, has 4 Super Bowl rings. All right. Last year, I'm convinced they won that Super Bowl because of coaching with Andy Reid, probably a top 3 NFL head coach of all time, Lombardi, Belichick, Reid, maybe Landry's up there. So the coaching edge, I think, has to go to the Chiefs. But does anything else I said about the Bills maybe change your mind at all?
Well, no, I mean, the numbers are there. Like, I get it. And I've rolled with them against the Ravens, kind of against the grain. I think they're a better team than the Chiefs, frankly. But I don't think like having the most talent or being better always means you win. And in any other context, if you take the Chiefs emblem off the helmet and you just put another team in with the same numbers to be crunched, basically, I'll roll with the Bills. But this is what the Chiefs do. Their entire year has kind of been a build up to this point where they've done nothing to get here yet, if we're being honest. In terms of, yes, they earned it in the regular season, but they got a bye in the first round. Then they beat the Texans, who weren't very good, in my opinion. Now they're in the AFC Championship game at home. So this is their first big test, really, of the postseason. But I think with their extra rest and with their experience, it's just hard to pick against them, rather.
You make a fair point. You look back at the Ravens and Chiefs game. The Ravens outgained good grief. The Ravens and the Bills game. I keep wanting to say Patriots, so that doesn't help. The Ravens and the Bills game, they outgained. The Ravens did the Bills by 150 yards. All right, I got to ask you one baseball question, then I'll let you get out of here. The Dodgers. I mean, my Lord, are they creating the next super team? Are they're the guys they've signed as pitchers, relievers, and starters, and the guys in the lineup? Just give the fans who may not be that familiar with the Dodgers, because we're going to talk more baseball as the spring rolls along here. But the fans out there, what the Dodgers have done, who they've brought in, what they've spent. Because to me, it's just like, oh, my God, they should win every World Series for the next, decade, not even blink an eye. But what are your thoughts, Grant?
Yeah, it's staggering, man. I mean, they're coming off of a title, and they've had the best offseason. And last year, as a team that was on the precipice of another title, they had the best offseason. You go get Shohei, who is the best player in the sport unequivocally. You didn't even have him at the strength of his powers last year because he's a two-way guy that didn't get to pitch last season. He will pitch this year. And then you go win the World Series. And what's so fair, unfair maybe is the word, I guess, is that he is only making a couple $1 million right now because they backloaded his $700 million contract so much with deferred money because financially they're able to, that he's not really counting against their payroll much at all at this juncture. And so they keep having money to spend. So they go out and they get Blake Snell, who's won a couple Cy Young awards, and they go out as a rotation. It's only getting healthier with Yoshi Yamamoto, who was banged up much of last year, going to be back in the rotation and healthy, and Tyler Glasnow coming back healthy this year. And then they add to that Roki Sasaki, who is the best available player on the market this year, another import from Japan, who's just an unbelievable talent, and I think he's going to be a number one starter for years to come and win Cy Young awards. So just an indication of the rich getting richer. I will say, for all of the hand-wringing in baseball about how lopsided and unfair everything is, it's not like the Dodgers win titles every year. They won in the COVID year in 2020, which was the only time previously that they'd won since decades ago. And it was in a fluky kind of quirky season where fans weren't in the stands and all the games were played at a neutral site in the playoffs in Texas and San Diego or whatever that was. And this was the first time they've won since. And if you compare baseball to the other sports, there is actually more championship level parity and even, LCS level parity maybe than some of the conference championship rounds in the other sports. So I think that's important to note. It's really, really hard in baseball just to spend the most, have the most talent, and still win because of the 162 games, 180 plus business days, the attrition rate of injuries, the 6-month marathon, all of those things. So I don't necessarily know that you've got to make any sweeping changes per se, like everybody's asking for, but I certainly acknowledge that off seasons are a lot less fun, and it is maddening to see them constantly getting all the best players and everybody else ending up being the runner-up in these sweepstakes and the bridesmaid, so to speak.
Well, Grant, I appreciate you taking the time. It's been good to catch up. Be well, my friend.
Yeah, Adam, be good, brother. Good talking to you. It's been too long.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Husker fans, this season, Nebraska is celebrating 50 years of Husker women's basketball, and they need you to help celebrate. You've shown up for women's hoops from the start and continue to prove that Nebraska fans really are the best in the nation. On Sunday, January 26th, the Huskers face Big Ten opponent Ohio State, and they're calling on all Husker fans to help pack PVA so they can celebrate 50 years of Husker women's hoops together. Get your tickets now and be a part of this historic season. For event and ticket information, go to huskers.com/tickets.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl, Jordan, with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk commitment. And what better way to do that than with some shiny, sparkly jewelry? Am I right? Now, I'm not suggesting you have to rush, but if you're considering making a significant move, do your planning. We offer financing and payment plans. Lock down your selection with confidence. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We will do our daily prize giveaway here in a minute, and I've got a question. Now, I want to see if Jay can get it right. If the fan can't get it right, we'll see if Jay can get it right. But before we do that, segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on The Ticket is sponsored by our very good friends at Mulberry Barbecue at 11th and Cornhusker. Open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more. Plus incredible sides. Get fueled for your lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located at 11th and Cornhusker. All right, daily prize giveaway. $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions. They are located at 2040 Southwest 5th Street here in the fine city of Lincoln. All you got to do to claim your prize is simply call this number. What's that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
All right. Just call in. Claim your prize. In fact, I was walking out yesterday. I made eye contact with an individual. He goes, I'm the prize winner. So yesterday was Mark. I go, hey, Mark. He goes, and I forget his name. I apologize. But he goes, I'm the smarter than the average dumb guy. And I was like, all right. Our new show motto. We have you to thank for it. Smarter than the average dumb guy. That's what we strive to be here on the Adam Carriker Show. Call that number. You will get a prize. Patch you on through. I got a trivia question for you. And one way or another, either I'm going to ask a fan or I'm going to ask Jake. We'll see what happens today. All right. But in the meantime, got a couple things to chat about here. So, former Nebraska quarterback, Clete Blakeman, who was Steve Taylor's backup, All-American Nebraska quarterback Steve Taylor, all right, will be the ref for the AFC Championship game this Sunday. Chiefs, Bills. The scrutiny he's going to be under because everything the refs do in a Chiefs game is so highly analyzed. Clete, I wish you nothing but the best, my brother. Who you got winning those games, Jake? And then we're going to dive into some Notre Dame offensive linemen in the transfer portal and do a little bit of a Husker sports roundup as well. And as always, if there's something from the text line, just let me know there, Jake. But who you taking on Sunday?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth a little bit with my thoughts here. Usually I like to kind of stick with the favorites. I think Chiefs-Eagles would make a great Super Bowl, but it just feels like the Jalen Hurts, health kind of up in the air. I mean, they obviously got the best running back in the league, so they still have a chance. There just seems to be something special brewing there in Washington. You mentioned how well they've done on the road. I think I'm going to lead at the Commanders. All right. I stick with Grant Paulson here. I don't have too much of a breakdown. I go with Chiefs because I believe that the Chiefs generally win these games, and they've beat the Bills, I think, 3 out of the last 4 or 5 seasons in their season. So I expect more of the same on Sunday.
All right, as I said before the break, I'm going to take the Bills. I think we're going the exact opposite, as a matter of fact. Now that I think about it, I'm going to take the Bills. Do I think they're the better team? I don't know that they're the better team. I just think it's their time. I think it's their day. The Chiefs, there is no better big game quarterback on planet Earth than Patrick Mahomes. There is no better big game close coach, defensive coordinator, offensive mind than Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo. I just think eventually that ball is going to bounce the other way. And I think the Bills are sick and tired of losing. I think it's their year. I think the Chiefs may even be a better team. Probably are, honestly, if you look at everything. I'm just going to go with the Bills just because on any given Sunday, anybody can win, and I'm just going to take the Bills because that's my logic. With the Eagles and Commanders, I think the Eagles are the better team. The flat-out concern is Jalen Hurts' knee. Now, I know they're 1-1 against each other this season. If you heard our interview yesterday with John Keim, like Jane Daniels was out for part of one of the games, Jalen Hurts was out for part of one of the games. It was kind of, you look at those two games, you got to take both outcomes with a grain of salt because there were so many things that were kind of out of whack in both games. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I don't know the status of Jalen Hurts' knee. If I knew he was like 85% or above, I would absolutely take the Eagles and not be surprised if the Commanders won. I don't know the status of his knee. He may be 70%. I'm just going to roll with the Eagles. I think they're the better team. But like Grant said, the Commanders are the team on the magic carpet ride right now. If they win, it wouldn't shock me. But I got to pick. So I'm going to go Eagles. I'm going to go Bills. And Jake, on Monday, one of us is going to have bragging rights.
That's right.
Unless we go 1-1 and then
just split it.
Then it's disgusting and it's a tie. I hate ties. All right. And if there's anything from the text line, let me know, Jake. But in the meantime, Notre Dame has now had 4 of their offensive linemen enter the transfer portal. Notre Dame starting offensive lineman Rocco Spindler has entered the transfer portal. He has started for Notre Dame the past couple of seasons. Notre Dame starting center, Pat Coogan, is expected and now has entered the transfer portal as well. So there's going to be no shortage of teams that want these guys. These are good offensive linemen. Notre Dame was very physical in the trenches for the most part. When they were banged up and missing guys, it looked a little different versus Penn State, and Ohio State's just really good across the front. But again, Army led all of college football with 4,207 total rushing yards this year. They throw the ball once every other decade, so that is not an entire shock. All right, Boise State, 3,365 total rush yards, and Mr. Ashton Genty, and then you had Notre Dame, 3,162 total rush yards on the season. These are guys who are good players, proven players, experienced players, physical players. I'm curious to see if Nebraska goes after them, if they can land one. Another offensive tackle for the Huskers would be great. All right, maybe you move Gunnar Gatula inside. Maybe you keep Gunnar at the tackle spot. You land one of these interior offensive linemen from Notre Dame. I just know we got to play better on offense, on the offensive line specifically. Talked about it a million times. Feel good about our quarterback. Feel good about the running back situation. I'm kind of trusting the coaches. Haven't done a lot to try to bring in a portal running back. Why is that? They must like what they've got. I'm just going to trust them. For me, I'd like to see a little bit more movement there. I got to trust them on this. You look at the wide receivers, brought in a ton of wide receivers. Plus, you've got Ja'Cory Barney. You look at the tight ends. All right, who's the tight end? I talked about him. He was hurt, came from LSU. One of the top tight ends got hurt, but now he's going to be healthy. You remember his name, Jake?
Yeah, Mac Markway.
So he's an option. You got Carter Nelson. You got Heimer Carberg. You got Lindenmeyer. I mean, you got all these options. It's the offensive line. And I'm not saying the guys that aren't there can't step up and improve and get better and play better. Just haven't seen it. Just haven't seen even close to it for far too long to put your faith 100% in that. So for me, we need to get better. A quick way to do that is by bringing in experienced guys who have produced and you know they can contribute right away, mixing it with what you've got, your current experienced guys, and your young and up-and-coming guys who are trying to earn some play time as well. What are your thoughts on the O-line? Notre Dame has got 4 guys. I'm surprised, man. People just love Marcus Free. I'm surprised they have that many guys going into the portal, especially as good as people predict them to be next year. Everyone has them top 5 at the moment. We've also got the spring and summer and everything else to figure all this out, so we got some time. But what are your thoughts at the moment, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think they still need some offensive line help. And obviously they were going after Shaez Pete and hoping to secure that at tackle. And I think tackle would be preferred. But if you can't get a tackle out of the portal, just to maybe to get an interior offensive lineman to help shore some of that stuff up, at least get competition. Some of these Notre Dame guys, I think you would look at more as competition rather than coming in and being the immediate starter. Of course, I think every team has 20 or so offensive linemen. So you lose 4 or 5 of them. It seems like a lot, but it's not like they're all starters. But it also just kind of interests me because Notre Dame had some serious offensive line attrition and injury problems to go with, at the end there. So
that's true.
It's just kind of interesting. Maybe certain guys felt like maybe they were not given the path there. I mean, one of them started 7 games. They didn't go back to him. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Nebraska, I think needs, would love another starter out of the portal. But honestly, if you don't, I think they could line up with what they've got.
Hold on. You would feel good if they lined up with what they have right now.
Good is not what I would say.
Oh, okay, okay. Clarify then.
I would
clarify.
say that Gatula played well enough that I could see him as a starting tackle next year without, overwhelming fear, I suppose, that it would just cave in.
Who else you got? Because I'm intrigued by that statement. Who else you got? Who would be the starters then?
Well, I think Justin Evans, you feel pretty good at guard.
Okay, I like that.
And then, obviously Elijah Pritchett, your new tackle.
How do you feel about that if he is your starting right tackle, I assume? We don't know enough to really give an educated answer on that.
I mean, he started at Alabama. I think that hopefully he can make another jump because he was giving up a lot of pressures there at Alabama. But I think you'd feel okay about it. Again, this is not ideal. That's why we're talking about it. They need to kind of get some help out of the portal. But I think that you could feel okay about it. But at some point, we've got to ask for Donovan to develop some of these guys himself.
Yep.
Because we've been talking about it, and for years it's been, well, we got these new tackles in to compete with Turner and Benhart, and then Corcoran and Benhart are your starters, right? And then, obviously Corcoran got hurt. You've dealt with that. But at some point, we need some of these younger guys to develop, and Evans is doing that. So I'm not saying it didn't completely happen, but at some point, we do want to rely on some of the younger guys. And for this to truly evaluate what Raiola is doing in that, you want to see some of these younger guys come up and take some of those spots.
That's a completely fair point because. So who would? Let me come back to my thought. I want to get who would your starting 5 O linemen be with the little information we have right now, like nothing out of winter conditioning really yet, no spring ball, no portal moves. Right now, if Nebraska had a game tomorrow Saturday, they have a game tomorrow, who would your 5 starting offensive linemen be?
I think, like I said, I think I'd go with Gatula and Pritchard at tackle. I think Justin Evans moves to center. And then you probably got Hunter Latovsky at a guard there. Corcoran, probably not healthy enough to play right now, but could be playing next year. Same thing for Prohaska. But if you had to go today, you get pretty thin there. Maybe have Sam Sledge or Grant Bricks give it a go.
I think you were being nice earlier when you're like, we could line up with what. That's why I followed up because I was like, I'm curious about this. And so you wouldn't feel great. And now I think when we kind of sit down and think about it, and we don't have information from the spring who has stepped up. Like my biggest jump of my entire career was my redshirt freshman year spring ball. I was a different player from that fall when I was a true freshman on scout team through the next fall when I was actually a redshirt freshman eligible to play. That spring, going against Richie every day. And I started to win more battles than I was losing. And that's not me bragging. That's one of the baddest dudes, whether you like him or not, whatever you think of him or not, that I've ever met. And when people have asked me, Adam, when did you know you could play at this level? When I could line up every day. And that dude would look at me like he didn't know if he was going to win because he would look at defensive linemen like they were lunch more often than not. That included starters, guys with shirts that were black on their back. Okay. He didn't look at me like that. And I was just some guy who couldn't play for another 5 or 6 months in the fall because it was spring ball. I just got done redshirting, so I was holding frickin' bags half the time in practice. I was a blocking dummy. All of a sudden, that's what kind of gave me my confidence because I walked in with I didn't walk in with a chip on my shoulder. I walked in with a forest on my shoulder. That meant I was motivated. That didn't mean I knew if I could actually do it or not. I was on an 0-9 high school team, and I was a frickin' quarterback. I didn't play defense till my senior year of high school. My junior year, no defense. My sophomore year, I was a safety because my coach didn't want me getting touched because I was going to be the quarterback. I don't even remember what I played in my freshman year. So long ago. But my point is simply coming to Nebraska. You got to remember, this was Nebraska. All right, just played in the Rose Bowl regardless of how that went. Won a conference title in 99, just fresh off the 90s. Like this was Nebraska at the time. And so for me, I mean, man, FOF is a real thing. Fear of failure is a driving force. It will either drive you into the dirt or it will drive you to go harder than you could possibly imagine. And that's what it did with me. And it wasn't until I looked at Richie and I'm like, bro, I got just as good a chance of winning this next down as you do. He knew it and I knew it. And we went to war in a football sense and a couple of times in another sense. But my point is that's when I knew. So there's so much information we don't have right now. What about a Grant Bricks? All right. This is going to be his spring ball going into his rusher freshman season. Preston Tamua, okay, one of the top players, 4-star, 320 pounds, as he walked in the door out of Hawaii, guard. What's he look like this spring? Without that information, because there's so many question marks and so much unknown, that's why I talk about we need help from the portal. I like guys who are proven and have experience. Guys with high ceilings are great, but I like guys who are proven and have experience. Also, we need competition. We need depth. Part of the reason was I was battling other defensive ends for playtime. And if I didn't play well, I was going to be sitting my butt on the bench. And I didn't like that idea. I just don't like losing in general, whether it's a game or a one-on-one drill. So those were things that drove me. So we'll learn a lot about throughout this offseason. For me, if we had to start tomorrow with the little information we have right now, it'd probably be Gunner, Justin Evans-Jenkins at center, Henry Latufsky, who, by the way, started a year earlier than he was supposed to last year because Micah Mazuka was so up and down. And then I guess Pritchett at the right tackle where there's question marks. And then Grant Bricks or Preston out of Hawaii, like somebody's got to step up. And that's just trying to fill your top 5. So I'm with you. At a certain point, Donovan Raiola's got to develop guys. Right now we got one guy that he can say, hey, Justin Evans-Jenkins. We need more guys than that. And I'm rooting for him, to be clear. I'm rooting for him. All right. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, random stat as we head out the break. Nebraska's odds to win the national championship, or 2026 national championship, are plus 9,500. Random stat of the day for no apparent reason. I just thought it'd be fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll do a Husker Sports roundup, and then I'm going to ask Jake a little fun trivia question. We'll be right back.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Brighton plays Everton at 9 a.m., followed by Man City versus Chelsea at 11:30 a.m. On Sunday, Aston Villa takes on West Ham at 10:30 a.m., followed by Fulham versus Man United at 1 p.m. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic goes beyond chiropractic care. They offer physical therapy, massage therapy, nutritional counseling, and wellness classes. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today at 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and A Street in Lincoln.
Shouldn't the landscape around your house reflect the architecture as well as the interior? Whether it's new construction or breathing life into an outdated landscape, let the teams at Tailored Landscapes, Tailored Lights, and Tailored Life combine as your local source for outdoor living. Schedule a meeting with one of our designers who listen during our consultations and combine your preferences, plus our experience to give you a timeless, sustainable, photo shoot-worthy landscape. Call us at 402-432-2572. Find us on any social media or at www.tailoredlandscapes.com, because when you find one company, you find the benefit of 3.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
The Body Lab, located at 14th and Yankee Hill, is Lincoln's premier physical therapy and recovery lab. The Body Lab offers trigger point dry needling, cupping therapy, joint manipulation, and so much more. Looking to relax and relieve stress after a long day or difficult workout? The Body Lab's recovery lab is the ideal spot. Featuring infrared sauna, a cold plunge tub, or if you're just looking for enough space to stretch out and reset your mind. Learn more about memberships and schedule your service today at thebodylablnk.com. Or visit the Body Lab in person at 14th and Yankee Hill Road.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Hello, I am Ayanna Blake, and welcome to Mind Your Mind. Have you ever been down and then someone says something that makes you laugh and you feel better? When is the last time you had a good, deep laugh? Studies show that laughter strengthens your immune system, boosts your mood, diminishes pain, and protects you from stress. Health psychologist Grace Turek says humor can be really helpful when coping with difficult situations. Do you know that laughter benefits your mental health by adding joy, easing anxiety, relieving stress, improving your mood, and strengthening your resilience? I encourage you to laugh more. Watch your favorite comedy, read a joke daily, or go to a comedy show. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine." Today, don't forget what brings cheer to your heart. We can change the world one laugh at a time. I am Ayanna Blake, reminding you to mind your mind. For more inspiration, connect with me on social media or visit ayannablake.com. Until next time, take care of your mind and keep moving forward on your pathway to wellness.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We got about 4 minutes and a lot of things to talk about. So we got to move quickly, but we got something from the text line. What do you got there, Jake?
Just a quick text here from Travis, who says, I've been his Bama season ticket holder since 2014. Oh, what a run he's been on. He said, Pritchett is one of the slowest, lazy offensive linemen we've had, so have fun.
All I heard was we have somebody listening to the show in Alabama. Welcome to the good side. All right. So this wasn't a big deal. I just get kind of annoyed when people misquote or partial quote or sensationalize things that I say. So this is from an article that was on the front page of MSN. Former Nebraska star Adam Carriker didn't hold back in assessing the situation on his show, The Carriker Chronicles, and I quote, "We've had 31 players transfer from Nebraska away from the Huskers. At this point, we have the number 1 transfer portal class in the Big Ten and number 6 class in the country, and 23 of those 31 players have found homes, 8 have not," end quote. He said with a mix of pride and extreme and utter disbelief. Like, the extreme and utter disbelief part did not need to be in there. If you watch the clip, I literally say, we have the number 1 transfer portal class in the Big Ten, number 6 in the country. We've had 31 players enter the portal, and 23 of them have found a home, 8 have not. Is there anything sensational about that? Is there anything in utter disbelief?
Utter disbelief.
Is it even prideful? Oh, come on, people. Let's be real. I sensationalize enough stuff on my own. We don't need to be adding to the things that I sensationalize. Just that's kind of who I am. All right, Husker Sports Roundup here, ladies and gentlemen. Nebraska women's basketball has been doing very, very well. They won 5 straight Big Ten conference games in a row. They're on a 15 home game win streak, the longest streak in the Big Ten. They take on, and it started when they beat number 2 Iowa and Caitlin Clark a year ago. If you remember that epic Sunday win in PBA, they take on number 12 Ohio State this Sunday. They're trying to get to 16 straight home wins. Also would love to see a sellout for the Lady Huskers. Show up and show out, Husker Nation, as you always do. Former Nebraska bowling coach Bill Straub named to the 2025 Collegiate Hall of Fame class. All right, congratulations, Coach Straub. 11 national titles over the years for Nebraska's bowling team. That's pretty freaking cool. Also, Jordy Ball, Nebraska softball, when they take on Texas Tech this year. All right, Huskers game against Texas Tech to be televised on the Major League Baseball Network. I just thought that was cool and kind of notable. All right, Nebraska men's basketball, as we know, struggling just a smidge. They've lost 5 in a row, had a rough loss versus USC the other night. Well, real quick, because women's basketball has won 5 straight. Volleyball, turns a $1.3 million profit. Britt Prince is named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week, all in this past week. The men were on a roll. They'd beaten two ranked teams, Creighton, UCLA. It's been kind of struggle since then. What are your thoughts on why they're struggling there, Jake?
Yeah, well, defense has been their calling card for a long time. In the first couple games of that stretch, that obviously was not the case. Purdue and Iowa were hitting threes left and right. I think they've kind of been able to pick up that side of the ball, and you could look at that in the last couple of games. The last couple of games, it's been just making the last couple possessions, making a difference here in 1 or 2 possessions could have won the game for them. So I don't think it's anything completely radical if they've got that kind of defense figured out. But they do need to also figure out a late kind of a setup. Bryce Williams has hit a few big threes or shots to extend games. They got to find a way to get him the ball with an open shot. Maybe it's just top of the key, let him go, space everybody out, because the last 2 games they've tried to get shots to tie or extend the ball game. Connor Seaton had to force something, and he's a spot shooter. He's not a guy that's going to create his own shot. And then Bryce did throw one out of bounds after being double teamed. So to me, it's nothing they have to overhaul. They're obviously, as with anybody, they have some holes on the roster. There could be some things they could do better, but you just got to keep going at it. Basketball's a long season. You got 3 games against ranked opponents. You can change the narrative pretty quickly.
They had a 20-game home winning streak. Now they have a 2-game home losing streak. Hopefully they can get that turned around. It's not all doom and gloom, though. Nebraska basketball, according to this article I'm looking at right now, turned into the Price is Right. During Nebraska's game versus USC, a fan made a full-court putt for a free Porsche. Could you have made a full-court putt?
No, absolutely not.
Zero chance for me either. Then another fan won $500 after nailing a half-court shot and then doing the ice in the veins celebration. All right, here's the trivia question. Oh, actually, we're gonna get into more basketball as we go down the road. But Jake, did you know that Michael Jordan is the only player in NBA history to win an MVP, a scoring title, first-team All-Defensive MVP, an NBA championship, and a Finals MVP in the same season? Did you know that?
I maybe have heard that before. It's not at the top of my head.
You know how many times he did it?
No.
4. Nobody else has ever done it, and he did it 4 times. But here's the trivia question, my friend. All right, let me see if I can find it. It went away. Who is there's only one guy who's done it recently. Who's the most recent college football player to win back-to-back national championships? And you're going to totally overthink this. Because I would have too.
Yeah. Someone transfer from Michigan? That'd be my business.
I can't give you help.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even have a good
I'm not
guess.
going to lie to you. You are a lot closer to the answer than I thought you would get. College football player Joey Velasquez is now a back-to-back national champion. He played for Michigan last year and then Ohio State this year. Dude, I wouldn't have gotten as far as you got. That's pretty impressive. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a phenomenal weekend. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bone.
Ever stare at the Hog Wild menu and feel like you just can't make up your mind because it all looks so good? Well, when I want a little bit of everything, I get a little bit of everything on Hog Wild smoked